Hello students, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to study energy coupling. Now see, understand what is energy coupling means. But before understanding, try to understand cell has to do three main kind of work. One is chemical work, another is transport work and mechanical work. Chemical work means they have to do the endergonic reaction, means those reactions which are require energy. Okay, they cannot occur spontaneously. For example, synthesis of polymer. Then transport work. They have to pump the substance across the membrane against the concentration gradient. Then mechanical work like beating of cilia, contractile of muscle protein, movement of chromosomes during cell division. So how the cell will manage their energy resource is by energy coupling. What they will do, they will couple the exergonic process with the endergonic process. For example, you can see here, this is formation of X to Y. Is it clear? This is energetically unfavorable because it requires input of energy. Positive G means we have to give the energy. Free energy is positive means it requires energy. So it is energetically unfavorable reaction, X to Y. But if you see here, C to D is energetically favorable. C to D is energetically favorable because it will release lot of energy. So we are coupling this reaction with this so that overall result is spontaneous. Is it clear? So when C to D is releasing energy and this release of energy is less what energy will be used, then obviously the process will become spontaneous. So here we have coupled the exergonic reaction with endergonic reaction. So who is responsible for coupling of energy in the cell? ATP. ATP is the one which is responsible for mediating most energy coupling in the cells. Is it clear? Now see, this is the diagram of ATP. ATP means adenine. It is having adenine nitrogenous base. It is having ribose sugar and 3-phosphate. Full form of ATP, you know, it is adenosine triphosphate. Is it clear? Full form, you know very well, it is adenosine triphosphate. The adenosine means it is having sugar and it is having nitrogenous base, that is adenine. Which sugar? Ribose sugar. So when this ATP goes for hydrolysis, this is the diagram for hydrolysis of ATP. Clear, beta? So hydrolysis of ATP means when you are adding the water, then this terminal phosphate will be released and lot of energy will be liberated. So ATP hydrolysis means you are converting ATP into ADP, releasing inorganic phosphate plus energy. So the energy which is liberated is minus 7.3. But when the hydrolysis is done under the cell condition, then energy liberation is minus 13 kilocalories per mole. Means 78% greater than what it is released in the standard condition. Now ATP is useful to cell. Why? Because energy it releases is somewhat greater than the energy which most molecule require for the process to occur. Means the cell require energy. So the energy for doing some work, what the cell require, that energy will be less than what is released by ATP hydrolysis. Now question comes in the mind, ki hydrolysis release, how come so much energy? If you see the diagram carefully, you will find 3-phosphate groups are present and all 3-phosphate groups are negative charge. Please see carefully diagram, beta. All 3-phosphate groups are negative charge and these like charges, means same charges, they are crowded together and their mutual repulsion contribute to the instability. So when the hydrolysis is going on, they release lot of energy. Is it clear, beta? Now see next, how the cell will couple ATP hydrolysis with endergonic reaction. For example, this is a reactant. What they will do, after ATP hydrolysis, they will provide the phosphate group to the reactant. Okay, they will provide the phosphate group to the reactant. So the cell will do by transferring a phosphate group from ATP to another molecule. We say we are doing the phosphorylation of that molecule. And cell work is often depend on the ATP energizing molecule by phosphorylating them. Generally, hydrolysis of ATP will result in release of energy, and what they will do, they will transfer the phosphate group to the another molecule, making that molecule unstable, energetically unstable. Clear? So you are transferring it. The recipient molecule with the phosphate group is now called as phosphorylated intermediate. And what is our key for doing this? To make the phosphorylated intermediate, which is actually less stable than the original molecule. Now understand this with an example. See, glutamic acid, when combined with ammonia to make glutamine, it will use energy. This much energy it will use. Clear, beta? Plus means usage of energy. And when hydrolysis of ATP is going on, what it will do? It will release energy. And you know, ATP hydrolysis will release under standard condition minus 7.3. So what is they are doing it? First of all, ATP is going for hydrolysis and adding the phosphate group to the reactant to make intermediate. Clear, beta? Intermediate. So ATP phosphorylate the glutamic acid, making it less stable. Now ammonia will come here and will replace the phosphate group and combine with glutamic acid to form glutamine. So ADP already released here, and now phosphate is also released. Clear, beta? Then if you see the overall equation, if you check the overall equation, you will find here the formation was using plus 3.4 and hydrolysis of ATP is releasing minus 7.3. The net is reaction is working as spontaneous. So overall process is now exergonic and it can occur spontaneously. This is the way how ATP powers the energy to the cell to do the reaction by providing the phosphate group and couple the endergonic reaction with its hydrolysis. So I hope so this chemical work, how the ATP help to do the chemical work of the cell, this might be easy for you. See next, in case of transport work, ATP, what it will do, it will bring about the active transport of solute by adding the phosphate group to the protein. So when the phosphorylation is done, means phosphate group is added to the protein, protein goes for conformational changes, and see here, it is bringing the pumping of the solute against the concentration gradient. This is an example of the transport work. Then mechanical work. Hydrolysis of ATP, when attached to special motor protein, for example, in muscle cells, it causes the protein to change the shape and pull on other protein filament. For this, you can please check my video sliding filament theory, where ATP is helping to break the cross bridge, and hydrolysis of ATP energize the myosin head to make the connection with the actin filament to form a cross bridge. And it is also used to move the vesicles also. The motor proteins are using, okay, they are using the ATP to move the vesicles here and there. So cell has to do three kind of work: chemical work, transport work, and mechanical work. All these three types of the works, it require energy. The cell is doing coupling with the ATP hydrolysis. That is why we say energy currency of a cell is ATP. So I hope so in this video, you must have understood what does energy coupling means and how ATP powered exergonic reaction, how ATP powered endergonic reaction by doing hydrolysis. Thanks for watching. And still if any queries is there, then you can mention in the comment. I'll try to help you out.